Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The small town of Clearwater had always been Kieran's universe. Amidst the endless expanse of the blue sky, the familiar facades of thrift shops and diner joints painted a picture of mundane routine. At 20 years old, he was still entangled in the comforting web of his childhood home, with his mother, Elara, steering the ship of their lives with unwavering love and a side of quirky unpredictability. Kieran often found solace in his favorite chair, reading comic books or sketching ideas for his own graphic novels. His mind was often adrift in fantasies far removed from his reality. However, today was unlike any other. A strange buzz hummed in the air, a sensation he couldn't quite put his finger on. "Kieran, can you come here for a second?" Elara's voice broke through his thoughts, punctuated with an excitement that seemed to shimmer in the afternoon light. Kieran pushed himself up, feeling a tingle of curiosity. He found his mom in the living room, gesturing animatedly at her phone. "Look, it's from Xylaria. She's coming to visit. It's been 20 years. The name washed over him like a wave, bringing with it a flood of childhood memories. Xylaria, his mother's best friend from a distant planet, had always intrigued him. He remembered her grace, her laughter, and those impossibly bright eyes that seemed to reflect galaxies. As a kid, Kieran had thought she was an alien princess, a notion that still lingered at the edges of his adult mind. What? She's really coming? Kieran's tone held a mix of disbelief and panic. He remembered the stories his mother had told him about their adventures across the stars before she settled down back on Earth. Those stories had spun his childhood imagination wild, opening portals to worlds unknown. Yes, she's arriving tomorrow. I can't believe it's been so long. I'll need to prepare, clean up. Oh, where's that old serving set?" Elara muttered to herself, rifling through drawers. Kieran's heart thudded. Xylaria was more than just a visitor. She was a gravity that pulled at the center of his youthful crush, now tangled with the complexities of adult attraction. What if things had changed? What if she was different? Unexplainable anxiety twisted in his stomach. As evening fell, Kieran found himself tossing in bed, envisioning what tomorrow would bring. Memories of Xylaria danced through his thoughts. The feeling of her laughter, the way she glowed under the stars, how she had effortlessly blended magic with reality in his young mind. Yet, with those sweet memories came apprehension. What if she no longer resembled the figure he idolized? What if she didn't feel the same vibrancy towards him? The following day dawned, bright and laden with humidity, an ordinary day for Clearwater. Kieran could hardly focus on anything as his excitement mingled with anxiety. "Stay calm. It's just Xylaria," he reminded himself as he shuffled around the house, feeling more like a shadow in his own skin. His mom was a flurry of energy, putting the final touches on the living room, displaying strange alien memorabilia that adorned their walls. Then the doorbell chimed. Kieran's heart skipped a beat. He exchanged a glance with Elara, who was now radiant with joy. "I got it," she called, rushing to the door like a kid on Christmas morning. As the door swung open, a luminous figure stood framed in the sunlight. Xylaria was as breathtaking as he remembered, perhaps even more so. Ethereal and magnificent, adorned in a flowing gown that seemed to shimmer with the colors of a nebula. Her essence breathed tales of far-off worlds and adventures yet untold. "Elara." Xylaria's voice flowed like a melody, sending shivers down Kieran's spine. She enveloped Elara in a warm embrace, her otherworldly aura contagious. "Xylaria, it's so good to see you," Elara cried, pulling back with tears glistening in her eyes. Kieran stood frozen for a moment, the gravity of the moment holding him captive. Then, mustering his courage, he approached. "Hey, Xylaria." His voice came out softer than intended, but there was no going back now. Her head turned sharply, and their eyes met, hers glowing with an intelligence that sparked something deep within him. "Kieran, you have grown," she noted, a smile blossoming on her lips, revealing how time hadn't dulled her fascination with humans. "Oh, yeah, you too," he replied, awkwardness flooding his system. As their hands brushed, a current surged between them, igniting layers of memory long buried. "Come, let us catch up," Xylaria encouraged, beckoning him closer as Alara began to enlighten her with tales from Earth. Kieran nodded, stepping into this newly reformed reality where long-lost dreams collided with corporeal beings. Little did he know, this reunion was only the beginning of a saga that would challenge the very fabric of who he was and what he thought he wanted. There was something beyond words on the horizon, something glorious and terrifying, an adventure that transcended dimensions, and Kieran was about to be swept into it. The atmosphere in the living room was electric with excitement. Kieran observed as Xylaria and Alara engaged in animated conversation, laughter bubbling between them like the effervescent energy of distant stars colliding. He felt like a silent observer, caught somewhere between nostalgic memories and the thrill of the present moment. "So, what brings you back after all this time?" Alara asked, drawing Xylaria's attention toward Kieran. Xylaria turned her gaze to him, and time seemed to still. "I have come for a purpose, dear friend," she replied, her voice smooth like silk. "It is a tradition among my people to seek mates as we reach maturity, an understanding that strengthens the bond between our worlds." A tight knot formed in Kieran's stomach as he processed her words. She was not just here to visit. She was here for something profound, something that could change everything. He swallowed hard, trying to maintain composure. "A mate?" he echoed, the term hanging in the air heavy with implications. "Yes," she confirmed, tilting her head slightly as if trying to connect his human emotional response to her alien standards. "I was to return when the time was right, and that time has come. I have traversed galaxies, and now it's to you that I have come." Kieran felt his heart race, and confusion mingled with something deeper, an intoxicating mixture of fear and thrilling curiosity. "But what does that mean? A mate?" Ilara's eyes flickered between the two, sensing the tension. "It's different for your tradition, Kieran. Zyra comes from a world where such unions are about creating a bond that transcends just romantic feelings. It's about love, partnership, and the blending of our worlds." Kieran swallowed hard, piecing together the scattered fragments of what it could mean for him. "Wait, so you're saying I would be with you? Like romantically?" "Yes," Xylaria answered, her expression calm, but her eyes sparkled with a challenge. "But I would not force you. Your heart must willingly join with mine. I have waited so long because I wanted this to be a true choice for you, untainted by obligation or expectation." Ilara remained quiet, absorbing the gravity of the conversation. Kieran felt anchored by her presence, but overwhelmed as he processed Xylaria's declaration. The tiny rebel in him thrummed with exhilaration. The idea of exploring uncharted realms alongside a being as magnificent as Xylaria was both thrilling and terrifying. "Look, Xylaria," Kieran started, struggling to formulate his thoughts. "I've thought about you all these years. I always admired you, but this is big. This is life-changing. You're from a different planet." She tilted her head, her expression unwavering. "And you are human. In many ways, we are not so different, Kieran. We both feel love, yearning, and even fear. We simply express them differently." Kieran felt his pulse quicken as he recalled her laughter, her warmth, and the enchantment she once brought into his life. Had his childhood fantasies been hinting at something deeper all along? "Can we take our time?" he ventured cautiously, searching her gaze for understanding. "Of course," Xylaria replied, her voice a soothing balm to his growing anxiety. "This can unfold at your own pace, but know that time is precious. My world calls for me, and patience is not endless." The weight of her words settled on him, and he found himself grappling with both the flickering hope and looming dread. Time felt elastic stretched thin, and he wondered if he truly was ready to embrace what she offered, a fusion of love across galaxies. Later that evening, Kieran found himself alone in his room, submerged in thought. The walls were adorned with the sketches of monsters, heroes, and far-off worlds, but nothing could ever compare to the reality standing in his living room just hours before. He leaned against the window, draping his arm over the frame as he gazed at the night sky, a blanket scattered with stars like shimmering jewels. "Is this right?" he whispered to the stars, seeking guidance. The cosmos twinkled in response, as if the universe were both infinite and entirely too small. He thought of Xylaria's laugh, of the way she glowed with that alien light, and wondered what it meant to truly open his heart and embrace the unknown. As sleep overpowered his thoughts, a flicker of hope ignited in his chest, a spark that perhaps destiny had brought them together, cosmic threads weaving their fates into something spectacular. Little did he know, the adventure was only beginning, and the true test of his heart lay just around the corner. The next day arrived with the vibrancy of summer, promising warmth and new beginnings. Kieran awoke with the sun streaming through his window, but his mind was still tangled in the thoughts from the previous night. The prospect of what lay ahead filled him with equal parts excitement and trepidation. After breakfast, Alara urged him to spend time with Xylaria, sensing the connection that had sparked between them. "Don't be afraid, Kieran. This is a rare opportunity. Embrace it," she advised with a knowing smile. Kieran nodded, feeling a mixture of gratitude and fear swell inside him. "I'll try to keep that in mind," he promised. He found Xylaria in the garden later that morning, bathed in sunlight and surrounded by blooming flowers, her ethereal beauty appearing even more pronounced against the vibrant colors of Earth. She looked up, and her smile lit up her face, illuminating the shadows of uncertainty that lingered in Kieran's heart. "Good morning, Kieran," Xylaria greeted, her voice almost a psalm. "Are you ready for our first adventure together?" "Adventure," he echoed, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" She extended her hand toward him, her eyes glimmering with mischievous light. "Come, let us explore the wonders of this world, and I will show you something spectacular." Kieran took her hand, feeling a rush of warmth flood through him. Together, they strolled through the streets of Clearwater, Xylaria's curiosity evident as she absorbed everything around her. She marveled at the children playing in the park, the colorful storefronts, and even the quirky locals who greeted them with perplexed expressions as they passed. "Your world is filled with so much life," she exclaimed, her face radiant with wonder. "It is vibrant, chaotic, and beautiful. Reminds me of the sights on my home planet Theria." But, Kieran prompted, sensing a change in her mood. "There is something here that connects you all. I feel it in the air, and it intrigues me. It is love and community, but I cannot pinpoint it." Xylaria reflected, a furrowed brow displaying her contemplation. Kieran pondered her words. Love, community. These were the ties that bound his life together in a world defined by moments, fleeting yet timeless. "It's just how we live, I guess. We rely on one another," he replied gently. Their conversation flowed like the wind, dancing between light banter and deeper thoughts. Kieran started to feel a connection growing, a kinship bridging the gap between their fundamentally different lives. "Now, let me show you my surprise," Xylaria announced, excitement coloring her voice. She led him to a secluded area on the outskirts of town, hidden beneath the embrace of tall trees, where a small pond glimmered under the sun, like liquid glass. "This is one of my favorite places," she said, her gaze capturing the beauty of the scene. "It reminds me of the sacred pools back on Theria, where the stars reflect in the waters, revealing the universe's secrets." Kieran stood beside her, mesmerized by how she seemed to fit seamlessly into the world around her. "It's stunning," he agreed, fighting to suppress the shyness that made his heart race. "But why share this with me?" Xylaria turned to him, her expression earnest. "Because in my culture, we believe that the heart must be tested before binding to another. I want to know if you will journey with me, Kieran." "A test?" he asked, raising an eyebrow, a stir of anxiety edging back in. "What kind of test?" She took a deep breath and stepped back, her presence shifting from playful to serious. "First, we must bond our minds and hearts, allowing us to experience each other's thoughts and emotions. Only then will we know if we can truly share a life together." Kieran blinked, caught off guard. "You mean we'd connect psychically?" "Exactly. It's a sacred practice. Many fear it. It can be overwhelming, but it is necessary to find harmony between our spirits." The request sent shivers down Kieran's spine. The idea of stepping into the depths of another's mind was both daunting and intoxicating. As daunting as it sounded, this was a step toward intimacy unlike anything he'd ever experienced. "Are you afraid?" Xylaria asked, her gaze unwavering. He hesitated, wrestling with his rising fear. Honestly, yeah, I am. I mean, it's a lot. But I trust you. The corners of her mouth turned up in a soft smile. That is the first step, Kieran. Trust is what will guide us. What do we have to do? He asked, his voice steadier now, but still edged with uncertainty. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to feel. I will guide you through it. Kieran nodded and closed his eyes, filling his lungs with air. The world around him faded as Xylaria's presence swelled in his mind, a gentle pulse of warmth that soothed his racing heart. Imagine a bridge between us, she instructed softly, a connection that brings our thoughts and feelings together. Let me in. As he concentrated, an ethereal light surrounded him, bathing them both in a glow that seemed to encompass the very essence of their being. Images flooded his mind, warm laughter, vivid colors gliding across the sky, moments tethered to joy and sorrow that defined existence. Suddenly, he felt her emotions, a wave of warmth and longing, mingled with an undercurrent of loneliness that struck him deeply. He reached back, allowing her in, sharing flashes of his own life, the warmth of his mother's embrace, the battles he fought with self-doubt, the dreams that floated just beyond his reach. In that moment of shared vulnerability, Kieran felt a force connect them, binding their souls with an unbreakable thread, transcending worlds. It was exhilarating yet terrifying, a collision of feelings that propelled him into a world beyond comprehension. As the connection thickened, they confronted uncharted emotions, exquisite, raw, and profound. He felt her dreams, intertwined with his hopes, and for the first time, he truly understood what it meant to share a bond that spanned galaxies. But just as quickly, he sensed uncertainty in the depths of her thoughts, a fear of acceptance, of being misunderstood. It mirrored his own anxieties about their connection. The connection pulsed and flickered, but they were beginning to flow in harmony, a rhythmic dance of vulnerability. Kieran's heart raced, not from fear but from the sheer intensity of their bond, as they merged into an intricate tapestry of emotions. And within it all, a profound realization dawned. In their connection, they might just find what they sought, a love that transcended the universe. As the connection between Kieran and Xylaria deepened, the world around them faded into a blur of colors and sensations, leaving only the warmth of shared intimacy. The sacred bond they formed rippled through them, awakening feelings both exhilarating and terrifying. Kieran, Xylaria's voice danced through the connection, soft yet resounding in his consciousness. Can you feel it? Our hearts are resonating as one. Yeah, he replied, his thoughts mingling with hers. It's incredible. I never expected anything like this, but also overwhelming. Embrace it. The more you let go, the more we can uncover, she urged gently, her presence wrapping around him like a comforting embrace. They shared fragments of their lives in a cascade of vivid images and emotions, his childhood dreams, her starry expeditions, the weight of expectations, and a profound sense of purpose that had driven each of them toward this moment. The boundaries that once defined them blurred, creating an undeniable synergy that defied the laws of their respective worlds. Moments of laughter bubbled to the surface. The first time Kieran had tried to ride a bike and had taken a nosedive into the grass, and the playful stories Xylaria shared of her childhood escapades on Theria, filled with ethereal beings and breathtaking landscapes. As flashes of memory melded with their present, he felt the distinct loneliness that sometimes wrapped around Xylaria, a flickering shadow against the brilliance of her light, a sense of displacement that echoed within him, revealing the hidden fears that lurked beneath the surface of his own mind. I know that feeling too well, he admitted, his heart racing with the intensity of their exchange. Sometimes it feels like I don't quite fit into this world. Her response came like a breath of sunlight through the darkness. And that is why we found each other, Kieran. We are not bound by the limitations of our worlds. We transcend them. The connection thrummed with electricity, a blend of hope and understanding that blossomed between them. With each revelation, they wove a narrative infused with trust, a tapestry that promised to hold them through every storm. Suddenly, a sensation surged within him, and Kieran gasped. He could feel Xylaria's intention blooming in the core of their bond, a desire to connect in a way that transcended mere understanding. "Wait," he began, apprehension creeping in. "What are you thinking?" The warmth of her presence enveloped him. "We can take this further, Kieran. We can explore more than just our minds. Our bodies can intertwine, an even deeper connection within our worlds." His heart raced at the notion. Between the electric energy and the heady allure of their bond, Kieran could feel a pull, a calling that resonated deep within him. But hesitation clouded his thoughts, a fleeting doubt that begged for caution. "I don't know, Xylaria," he stammered, torn between desire and uncertainty. "That's a big step." "Only if you are ready," she replied, her voice calming, yet laden with intent. "But know that this uniting is also a symbol that melds our worlds. It bridges the gap between our cultures, and our souls would intertwine in ways that redefine existence." Kieran weighed her words, suddenly conscious of the vast unknown before them. What would it mean to physically connect, to bind themselves to one another irrevocably? The prospect of love beyond the familiar comfort of Earth was intoxicating, yet still so daunting. "I've never done anything like this," Kieran murmured, casting a nervous glance toward the shimmering pond before them, reflecting both his face and the infinite cosmos. "And that is the beauty of it. Let us discover together," Xylaria encouraged, her energy encasing him warmly. "In intimacy, we find secrets unspoken, and our soul's language resonates beyond words." Taking a deep breath, Kieran allowed himself to lean into the warmth radiating from her. He wanted to explore, to dive even deeper into this newfound connection, to unravel the mysteries that awaited them. "Okay, I'm willing to try," he finally said, determination lacing his voice. "But let's go slow." The flash of delight that surged through their bond echoed, like shooting stars blazing across the night sky. "Together," Xylaria affirmed, and the connection between them surged like the pulse of the cosmos, filled with promise. As they drew closer, Kieran felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. He reached out, their fingers brushing against each other and sending a shiver of anticipation down his spine. The world around them vanished, and all that existed was the resonance of two souls poised on the precipice of discovery. In that charged moment, Kieran and Xylaria leaned in, the boundaries of their world slipping away as warmth enveloped them. The air vibrated with energy, a symphony of stars humming in chorus. As their lips met, it was as if the universe itself held its breath, an explosion of sensations, colors, and emotions mingling in a dance that transcended earthly boundaries. In that kiss, he could feel their hearts beating in tandem, the vibrant colors of their connection unfurling like a cosmic blossom. And as they stood beneath the stars, their worlds entwined, Kieran could feel destiny's embrace, a realization that perhaps love truly knew no bounds. As Kieran and Xylaria shared that first intimate moment, time seemed to suspend around them, letting the world fade away. But the blissful connection they had formed was soon tempered by the reality that loomed just outside the gentle veil of their newly intertwined lives. The warmth of the kiss lingered sweetly on Kieran's lips as they pulled away, breathing deeply, hearts racing. "I never imagined I could feel so." He struggled to find the right words, the intensity of their bond leaving him a little breathless. "Transcendent," Xylaria guessed, her smile radiant as the stars above. "That is the power of our union, Kieran. It is only the beginning." Before Kieran could respond, the tranquil atmosphere around them was shattered by an unexpected noise. An insistent crackling sound resonated through the air, and the sky above them seemed to shimmer ominously. Shadows flitted across the ground, pulses of energy oscillating as if the universe itself was reacting. "What's happening?" Kieran's heart raced as he scanned the surrounding area, senses picking up on an intrusion that felt palpable in the air. Xylaria's expression changed, her brow furrowed with concern. "It is happening too soon," she murmured, stepping closer to him, the warmth of her presence grounding him as uncertainty loomed. Suddenly, a rift, a swirling portal, opened above them, tearing the fabric of reality apart. Kieran stumbled backward, his eyes wide with panic as a figure emerged from the void. It was a being unlike anything he had ever seen, ornate yet menacing, adorned in armor that glinted like obsidian. A low growl resonated from deep within the creature's chest as it stepped forward. "Kieran, stay behind me." Xylaria commanded, her protective instincts igniting like a blazing fire. "What is that?" Kieran exclaimed, fear creeping into his voice. The figure laughed, a chilling sound that ignited Kieran's adrenaline. "You think you can betray your kind and pursue this alien creature without consequences?" It hissed, casting a sharp gaze at Xylaria. "The Union cannot allow it." "The Union?" Xylaria echoed, her tone steady, though Kieran could sense the urgency beneath her calm exterior. "You have no power here. Kieran is free to choose his own path." The figure snickered, its eyes glowing with an ethereal light. "Only until the Council hears of this. A mere human seeking to unite with an alien? You dare defy the order of our people?" Panic clenched at Kieran's heart. This was not the fairy tale he envisioned. The reality of their connection suddenly felt gravely at stake. "I'm not betraying anyone," he shouted, his voice shaky but filled with determination. "I care about Xylaria." As if sensing Kieran's growing strength, the figure shot him a look of disdain. "You think love can transcend the rules of our worlds? You will regret this choice." "Leave him alone," Xylaria cried, her eyes fierce, the energy surrounding her changing to something more primal. "He belongs to no one but himself." Kieran felt the energy in the air shift like a storm brewing, but it was Xylaria's determination that steadied him. The being unleashed a guttural growl, and in an instant, it lunged toward them. Before he had a chance to react, Xylaria stepped forward, raising her hand, summoning energy that crackled in the air. "Kieran, hold on," she shouted just as an explosive wave of light erupted from her outstretched fingers, colliding against the creature. Kieran shielded his eyes as the light pulsed like a supernova, flooding the area with brightness. He felt the warmth of the energy wash over him, electrifying yet comforting, wrapping him in a cocoon of protection. As the light faded, the figure staggered back, smoke curling off its body as it retreated. "This is not over. The Council will intervene," it yelled before the rift opened once more, swallowing it whole. And just like that, it was gone, leaving Kieran and Xylaria stunned in the aftermath of their encounter. "Kieran," Xylaria breathed, turning to him, concern etched across her features. "Are you all right?" "I think so," he replied, feeling shaken but imbued with a new sense of urgency. "But what was that? Who were they? And what do they want?" "They are agents of the Council, a governing body that enforces strict laws between our peoples," Xylaria explained, her expression reflecting a mix of defiance and fear. "This union, our bond, is forbidden. They wish to break us apart before we can solidify our connection." Kieran's heart sank. "But why? We love each other. Isn't that enough?" She sighed, a heaviness in her voice. "In the eyes of the Council, love is a luxury afforded only to those who maintain the purity of their lineage. They believe humans and aliens should remain separate. It is a fear of blending cultures, fear of the unknown." Kieran clenched his fists, the weight of it all settling upon him. "So we have to fight against that fear. But how?" Xylaria's gaze met his, filled with fierce resolve. "We must stand together. We have to prove that our love is more powerful than their fears. If we can reach the Council, perhaps we can challenge their beliefs." A wave of determination surged through Kieran. For too long, he had felt like an outsider in his own life. Now, with Xylaria by his side, he wouldn't let them dictate his future. "Okay," he affirmed, meeting her gaze with unwavering conviction. "I'm in. Let's show them that love knows no boundaries." With a newfound sense of purpose, Kieran and Xylaria stood together, two souls united against the storm of uncertainty. They would need to navigate the complexities of both their worlds, but together, they dared to dream of a love that could withstand the fiercest trials. And with that, their journey toward the heart of two worlds truly began. With a shared commitment burning brightly between them, Kieran and Xylaria began to strategize their next steps. They had to find a way to reach the Council, and that meant navigating a world that threatened to separate them just as they had begun to understand their bond. "We need to gather support," Xylaria said, pacing their makeshift hideout by the pond. The tranquil atmosphere was in stark contrast to the storm brewing in their hearts. Kieran nodded, piecing together his thoughts. "If we can find allies among your people, someone who believes the same way we do. We might stand a chance." Xylaria paused, a flicker of hope lighting her eyes. "Yes, there are those among my kin who think differently. They yearn for change, but fear the repercussions of opposing the council." Kieran took a deep, steadying breath. "Then let's find them. We can't just sit here and wait for them to come after us again." As dusk painted the sky with hues of orange and purple, Kieran and Xylaria set out toward a remote area of town known for its rumblings of dissent, spots where hidden gatherings whispered of a desire to bridge the gap between Starborn and Earthbound. They arrived at an old community center, dimly lit yet buzzing with life. Certain allies, people who had been silenced or marginalized by the council, gathered within, sharing stories of their dreams for a unified existence. Xylaria stepped forward, her voice cutting through the din with a confident determination. "People of Theria and Earth, we stand at a crossroads. The council seeks to dictate our lives, but I and my ally Kieran are here to challenge their narrow-mindedness. We believe love can unite us." Murmurs spread through the crowd, filled with both skepticism and intrigue as they sensed the potential for change. "What can you offer us?" One voice spoke up, a tall figure with piercing eyes. "Courage," Kieran declared. 12 years of rifts have kept us apart, but our love proves that boundaries are meant to be crossed. If we can forge a union between Xylaria and me, we can inspire others to do the same." The crowd buzzed with curiosity, whispers of hope weaving their way through the darkness. Xylaria sought connection, her own fervor igniting in the passionate exchange of ideas. Days turned into weeks as Kieran, Xylaria, and their newfound allies worked tirelessly. Together, they formed a coalition, an alliance of dreamers who dared to believe that love could triumph. They met in secret, crafting a plan to confront the council and plead their case. After extensive negotiations, they secured a meeting with the council in an underground chamber, a sacred bastion of their governance. The day finally arrived when Kieran and Xylaria stepped into the cavernous chamber, flanked by their allies. The air was thick with tension, the atmosphere crackling with uncertainty. An imposing figure clad in ornate robes, the Elder Zenth, presided over the assembly, flanked by other council members whose eyes glinted with skepticism. "State your purpose," Zenth commanded, his voice resounding with authority. Xylaria took a deep breath, stepping forward. "We stand here to challenge the laws that govern our existence. Love cannot be dictated by your fear. Kieran and I represent a vital connection that should be celebrated, not condemned." There were murmurs of dissent among the council members, but Kieran felt strength swell within him. "We have found a bond that transcends our worlds. Our love holds the potential to reshape our futures. You cannot hide from that truth." Zenth regarded him with steely eyes. "And what proof do you have to offer, boy? The union you suggest is unprecedented." "Love is its own proof," Kieran argued passionately, invoking memories of their journey together. "The connection Xylaria and I forged is real, as tangible as the ground we stand upon. We have allies here to support our claim." As Kieran turned to the gathered crowd, the positivity and strength behind them became palpable. "Our voices must be heard. We were not born in conflict. We shipped together in hope. Join us in revising the fabric of our existence." With that, Xylaria stepped forward and held Kieran's hand. "Together, let us bridge the rift that divides our people. Fear has kept us apart for too long. Love will lead the way." Elder Zenth shifted in response, the weight of tradition clashing with the pulsating energy of their plea. "This is not a decision to be made lightly. You speak of love, but tell me, what of the consequences?" As the council deliberated, whispers echoed through the chamber like ripples in a pond. The idea of a united existence resonated with many, and as voices began to rise, Kieran sensed a turning tide. "Let it be known that if rejection is the answer, we stand ready to fight," he boldly declared, feeling the swell of desire for change churning in his core. Zentha's expression tightened. "And if the coalition insists on pursuing this union without sanction, the consequences shall be severe." "Then let them come," Xylaria replied fiercely, her spirit igniting as she found strength in her conviction. "Our love will not yield, it will prevail." with undeniable support burgeoning among those present. Late night turned into discussions, debates, and passionate speeches until dawn approached. The dust settled, revealing how deeply intertwined their fates had grown. That night, decisions were set into motion, opening pathways for a new future. The Council's final verdict changed the course of history. While a rigid structure still enveloped the world, Kieran and Xylaria's unrelenting determination ushered in a new era, one in which bonds flourished rather than withered in fear. Months passed, and autumn adorned Clearwater with a stunning palette of oranges and golds. Kieran and Xylaria transformed their lives into a vibrant celebration of their union, hosting festivals that invited both humans and Therians to share customs, stories, and ultimately love. In a ceremony beneath the stars, Kieran and Xylaria stood surrounded by friends from both realms, as vibrant colors enveloped them, weaving tales and energy into the air. "I promise to stand beside you through the challenges of our worlds," Kieran vowed, his heart buoyed by the warmth of their connection. "Together, we will redefine what it means to love across galaxies. And I promise to dance between the stars, no matter how far the distance may stretch," Xylaria replied, her voice drowning in emotion. "We are more than mere beings. We are threads woven into the universe." As they exchanged vows, a chorus of joy erupted, a crescendo that echoed through the realms, birthing a new reality where no one felt alone, where love was not a binding weight, but a soaring embrace. And as they stepped into this bright future together, Kieran realized that the tales his mother once told of a distant alien princess had come to life in ways he had never imagined, proving that love knows no boundaries and dreams can fuse two worlds into one. Together, they built bridges for generations to come, hearts unstopped by fear, unfettered by distance, spinning the never-ending story of love across the cosmos.